topic for first observations: who is the worst backup quarterback, starting quarterback in the league? Of course, I think we might have had that question answered with Zach Wilson being benched, but there's also other candidates, man. There's Kenny Pickett, there's Daniel Jones. There's guys like that. I'm gonna start with Mikey first, man. Who gets your vote for who's the worst starting quarterback in the NFL right now?
Oh man, it's got to be between Kenny Two Gloves and Zach Wilson. I mean, I guess we went into the season with Zach Wilson as a clear backup, so we knew his role was defined. It just so happens to be that Aaron Rodgers, tore his Achilles 4 plays into the season. So I'm gonna pivot to Kenny Pickett. He is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
he is fucking terrible. I want to say he had only 4 throws past 10 yards in the first half. He's just bad. He's just bad, and I don't know what the Steelers' plan is, but I think you can look at them as a team that's going to be looking for a quarterback this spring.
I'm gonna go with Kenny Two Gloves as well, man. They only don't shit on him because he's the hometown kid. Let's just be 100% real. And there's one thing I know as a Bears fan. I might not know what a good quarterback looks like, but I know what a bad one looks like. Kenny Pickett is a fucking bad quarterback. First of all, I was already concerned when I saw this motherfucker have 2 gloves on. When have we ever, I think there's only one quarterback I remember who had 2 gloves on who was good, but considering he's also a rapist, that doesn't mean anything. And that was his predecessor in Mr. Bathroom, Ben Roethlisberger. But besides that criminal, I can't name a quarterback who had 2 gloves who was legitimately good. So that was something I saw right away. The Steelers have the record they have right now in spite of Kenny Pickett. Is because of the great coaching, who I feel is the best coach in the league, Mike Tomlin. It's because of that amazing defense and that generational talent that they have in TJ Watt. Daniel Jones is bad, but Daniel Jones still got his team to a playoffs, and actually, I won't say got his team, but that's a stretch. But he won a playoff game that he actually played well in. Something I don't think Kenny Pickett is possible of. And motherfucking who else? Mac Jones. Oh my God, Mac Jones is so fucking bad. Mac Jones is the other guy on here who's been benched almost as many times as Zach Wilson. He is single-handedly bringing down Bill Belichick's legacy. He is trash. Zach Wilson is very bad too. But in respect to Zach, he wasn't supposed to be a starter this year, but at the same time, he was also drafted to be a starter. This is a guy they took in front of Justin Fields. And I'm pretty sure they would do that trade back as much shit as. And one thing I would say in overtime too, I saw somebody say you can get a number 1 pick for Justin Fields. If you can get a first round pick for Justin Fields, that means that maybe you should keep that motherfucker. So there'll be a lot of teams, including the Jets, who I don't know how much long Rodgers has with that barbecue ass Achilles, who will probably want him, man. But I'm gonna put in my vote for Kenny Pickett. Bane, who you think is the worst QB in the NFL?
As we sit this year, right now at 5:41 Central, 6:41 Eastern time, is the man who leads the NFL in pick sixes, and that's Bryce Young. Bryce Young is ass right now, fam. I don't know if it's the team. I don't know if it's him, but he's ass. He can't do shit right now. And at least Kenny Pickett has the luxury of having a good defense and, a fairly decent running game if Warren is at your running back. But Bryce Young is ass. It don't help that that CJ Stroud is out here looking spectacular and shit. But that's who's gonna get my pick right now. Like everybody else who I would have picked has already been benched or injured. So, speaking on who's playing right now, it's no question it's Bryce Young.
Dante, where you going with this?
I can't say Bryce G. I got to go with Zach Wilson. It was either going to be Zach or Mac Jones because, like you said, they both are terrible. But with Zach Wilson, he's been consistently terrible since he got there in New York. And it's something that hasn't changed even under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers. Like you said, he wasn't expected to be a starter, but at the end of the day, you've been a starter before. So when you get a chance to go back in there, I expect way more to you than what we got, because what we've got is he's played terrible football, and the Jets have won in spite of him. And so he had that one game, and it was crazy because after that one game, everybody was saying, "Oh, well, if Zach can do this every Sunday, the Jets are on or something." And we've clearly seen what he can do. And so I think that's one guy. he's had everything around him. It's not like other quarterbacks where you don't know, what the coaching is. It's been stable. They put weapons around him. You had the offensive rookie of the year. You got a good running back. You got more weapons because you thought you had Aaron Rodgers, but the weapons are still there. He's just not utilizing them. So I think, without question, it's Zach Wilson.
I got an honorable mention. I got an honorable mention too. We can't forget about Desmond Ridder. And
we definitely can't.
We cannot forget about his bum ass, and we cannot forget about Gardner Minshew. My thing with Gardner Minshew though is he was pressed into action as a backup because of the injury to Anthony Richardson, but he's keeping the Colts afloat. Like they are still moving the games. They're still moving the ball.
Shout out to Kyle in the chat, said Dante favorite player Desmond Ridder. Shout out our guys. Shout out our guy Jared on King's Landing. That's his man's.
Man, that's his boy.
Paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not